There is no most valuable Viking. There are only 40 most valuable Vikings. 40 for 60, put it that way. I just can't accept this. Thank you.
For the Minnesota Vikings, the 1969 season ended in January just as it had begun in September, with an unexpected defeat. It all began with quarterback Gary Quazzo and receiver John Henderson, who combined perfectly for the season's first touchdown. Quazzo then launched a bomb to Gene Washington for a comfortable halftime lead over the New York Giants. But new coach Alex Webster and 63,000 Yankee Stadium fans ignited the Giants, and a sure victory slipped through the Vikings' grasp, 24-23. Then came the home opener. For 1 year, Joe Kapp had thought about the Baltimore Colts. His thoughts became reality when an early touchdown pass flew straight to Dave Osborne. Moments later, a long pass to Gene Washington covered 83 yards and a second touchdown. A third touchdown pass sailed to wide receiver Bob Grimm, number 27. Touchdown pass number 4 went to tight end Kent Kramer. Ignoring a fractured left wrist, Kapp floated touchdown number 5 to Gene Washington. Kapp drilled a short pass to tight end John Beasley for touchdown number 6. A Kapp pass to Jim Lindsey became number 7, which tied the NFL record for touchdown passes and heralded the start of something big for Joe Kapp and the Vikings. The University of Minnesota's Memorial Stadium was the site for game number 3. The Pack was back. But in the first pro game ever played in a Big Ten stadium, Minnesota's Purple Gang decked Green Bay's Bart Starr 8 times and missed a shutout by only 5 seconds. In Game 4, the Vikings were rambunctious guests at the home opener of the Chicago Bears. The Vikings not only defeated the Bears by 31 points, but earned the first shutout in their 9-year history. True to the code of 40 men for 60 minutes, the biggest play occurred when number 57, former Bear Mike Riley, blocked a punt and recovered it for a touchdown. Game 5 was against the Cardinals in St. Louis. Joe Kapp threw 1 touchdown pass to John Beasley and 2 to John Henderson. And for the first time in their history, the Vikings had won 4 consecutive games. Back home against Detroit, Joe Kapp bombed the Lions for a 21-point halftime lead. Cornerback Ursel McBee, number 46, intercepted 3 passes, and the Vikings rolled on to their 5th straight victory. Next, it was the Bears' turn again. This time, Bobby Douglas wore the bullseye. The Purple Gang got to him 9 times for almost 80 yards and losses. On offense, magnificent blocking allowed Joe Cap to throw 2 more touchdown passes. The Vikings ended the first half of the season in style when number 26, Clint Jones, broke free for an 80-yard touchdown, the longest NFL run in 5 years. The Vikings were riding high with 6 straight wins, 2 of them over their old nemesis, the Bears, and a national audience was beginning to understand the meaning of 40 for 60. The second half of the season began with the red-hot Cleveland Browns, led by quarterback Bill Nelson. The Browns were quickly cooled. The front 4 pressured Nelson into 4 interceptions, 3 by number 20, Bobby Bryant. The Viking offense scored the first 9 times it had the ball. Joe Cap survived Cleveland's pressure and completed 3 more touchdown passes to Gene Washington as the Vikings rolled up their 7th straight victory, 51-3. Next came the crucial rematch with the Packers in Milwaukee on a day when neither team's offense could score a touchdown. In a savage defensive battle, the Vikings gained their 8th consecutive victory. Green Bay's last chance was thwarted by Bobby Bryant's interception inside the Viking 10. The Pittsburgh Steelers were next. Quarterback Gary Quazzo, for the 2nd straight week, played a major part in proving that 40 for 60 was more than just a slogan. The game's biggest play was an example of what happens when a team is winning. Number 87 is John Beasley. 26 is Clint Jones. And 52 is the number of points the Vikings scored as they rolled to their 9th straight victory. Then came Thanksgiving Day in Detroit. The Lions had won 4 straight and were prepared to play their biggest game in 7 years. At stake was the Central Division title. The Vikings forged an early lead and then teed off on quarterback Greg Landry. The final crushing blow occurred when Alan Page tipped a pass and Jim Marshall intercepted. Page, attempting to block for Marshall, wound up scoring himself as the Vikings swept their 10th straight and their 2nd straight Central Division championship. Next came the undefeated Rams in their glamorous Hollywood setting. Roman Gabriel, the NFL's most valuable player, had led the Rams to 11 straight wins. But it was the Vikings who controlled the game. And it was the Vikings who left the Coliseum with 11 straight wins. Back home the following week, the biggest story of the day was an 11-year-old boy whose hot air balloon dumped him in the Minnesota River 3 miles away. It was a tough act to follow, but the Vikings and 49ers managed quite a show of their own. Fred Cox scored all the points in the first half. 3. In the second half, the visibility improved. A long pass to Gene Washington finally made the difference as the Vikings mushed to their 12th straight victory. the longest one-season winning streak in 35 years, and once again, Joe Kapp had played Santa Claus for the Vikings. The final game of the regular season was in Atlanta, which some people consider part of the sunny South. The Falcons won 10-3. In just 3 years, Coach of the Year Bud Grant had led his team from the bottom to the top. The Vikings scored the most points in all of pro football. They gave up the fewest ever in a 14-game season. Such success begins with defense, and defense begins with the front four. Number 81, Carl Eller. Number 77, Gary Larson. Number 88, Alan Page. And number 70, Jim Marshall. All four played in the Pro Bowl. Right end Jim Marshall is perhaps the quickest striking force in football. Tackles Gary Larson and Alan Page apply the inside pressure. To All-Pro Carl Eller, the philosophy of defensive football is simple.
Defensive ball players take pride in knowing that they're rough and that they're tough and that they're mean, and that you really have to just hit and smack and sock and tear, and whatever happens, it's going to be all for one and one for all.
The Vikings secondary also punishes people with devastating hitters like Dale Hackbart, number 49. The Vikings led the NFL in interceptions with 30. Everyone helped. Carl Kosulke, number 29. Ursel McBee, number 46. Ed Shirachman, number 45. Paul Krause, number 22. And the new star, Bobby Bryant, number 20. In spite of his rail-thin 168 pounds, Bryant always seemed to be making the big play for the Vikings. Seven interceptions were grabbed by the linebackers, but their usual style was less subtle, like the blitz. Number 58 is right linebacker Wally Hilgenberg. Number 60 is left linebacker Roy Winston. Number 59 is middle linebacker Lonnie Warwick. Place kicker Fred Cox scored 121 points, the most points ever scored in the NFL by place kicking. Another special team member, number 40, Charlie West, accounted for almost 500 yards in kick returns. The team's greatest improvement was in the high-scoring offense, especially the passing game. It wasn't fancy, but it was extremely effective. John Beasley, number 87, was the tough-catching tight end. Number 80, John Henderson, was a graceful and effective wide receiver. Number 84, willowy Gene Washington, is rapidly approaching his goal to be the best receiver in football. He can catch the ball anywhere on the field, but most often he seems to catch it behind the defense. Offensive tackles Alderman, Davis, and Yerry. Guards Sunday, Valone, and White. And center Kengelhoff are among the best at opening holes for runners like number 26, Clint Jones. Number 32, second-year back Oscar Reed, averaged nearly 5 yards per carry. Number 30, Bill Brown, is one of the best receivers in football. But what Bill Brown is best known for is his roughhouse style of running. Dave Osborne, number 41, is also an excellent receiver. But what he is best known for is his vast repertoire of second effort moves. Among the 40 most valuable Vikings is quarterback Joe Kapp. But somehow he is something more. December 27th, Metropolitan Stadium. The Vikings versus the Rams in the Western Conference Championship game. At halftime, the Rams led 17-7. It was no longer 40 for 60. It was now 47,900 for 30.
Hurts a little, huh? Lester, hurts a little, huh? All right, let's go. Come on, get it. 3:18. Hunt.
275! Hunt! Hunt!
Make it go! Make it go! We got it! Come on, Joe! Come on, Joe!
Check! 275! Hunt! Hunt!
Seconds to play, and the Rams were driving. Then came the play of a lifetime for Alan Page, number 88.
Hey, you did it close today, Alan. You moose. Way to go.
Hey, look here.
And then suddenly it was over. For the Vikings and their fire-breathing quarterback, there was to be one more magic day against Cleveland in the NFL championship game. After the first 7 minutes, the Vikings were being acclaimed as the new NFL champions. It was a magic day that belonged in great part to a unique quarterback. It was a magic day that belonged, most of all, to 40 men competing as one.